everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to make something different. Yes, I'm going to make resin blooms, but I want to make a resin bloom bouquet. I saw that on a YouTube channel of Sarin Resin Art. I think her name is Fahima. She makes the most beautiful bloom bouquets, and I was so inspired by that. So I wanted to try it also. So thank you so much, Farima, for your inspiration video. If you want to watch that video, I will add a link to that video in the description below this one. So I already shown you the temperature. The temperature was high, 30.5 degrees, and I added 30 gram of resin in my paper cup and 3 drops of white pigment paste. And I used my own pigment paste, and that one is called Moonlight White. And now I'm adding it in a piping bag. I like to use piping bags because then I have a little bit more control over the lines. And this resin bloom bouquet will get 2 layers. And hopefully I can create the 3D effect by using 2 thin layers of resin. So I'm pouring a thin layer into my silicone mold. And as you can see, it has a nice edge with 3 rims, and I'm pouring up to the second rim. And the mold I'm using is from Molds and Shapes. It's the Cascade Geode Tray mold. It's 25 centimeters, so large enough. And now I'm showing you the colors. I'm using the alcohol inks from Let's Resin in the colors yellow, orange, purplish, red, cerulean, and later in the second layer I'm using green. So I'm starting with yellow, only 1 drop in the center, and then with a silicone pen I'm adding orange color. I don't drop this color onto the yellow because I don't want a lot of this color. So with my silicone pen I'm adding this orange color. And the resin I'm using is also new for me. It's the Let's Resin Fast Cure resin. And I think it's already very thick. And yeah, I like to work with thick resins. So yeah, let's see if I can create a nice resin bloom bouquet. Another color, this is the purplish red color. Also some dots on top of the other colors. And a nice blue cerulean is this one called. It's a nice contrast with all the other colors. And on top of it, the purplish red. So I want to make a resin bloom bouquet. So I'm going to make small blooms on top of alcohol ink. And yeah, that's what also Fahima did in her video. So I want to try this. Yeah, and to create nice blooms, you need a high temperature. That's why I'm checking it again. It was about 31 degrees because if you pour it out of your cup into the silicone mold, the temperature will go down. So that's why I'm checking it because I don't want it too low. Otherwise, I won't get nice blooms. Again, I'm checking the temperature. It's still above 30 degrees. Now I'm going to make some flower shapes. There you can see it. And the resin is very thick because the temperature is high. Normally, yeah, that's not strange. First, it gets thinner because the resin will get warmer. And then if you're almost at the end of the working time, the resin will get thick again. And then I'm adding the shape of the flower on top of the alcohol ink. So this is only the first layer. Adding a little bit more white. So the resin is new, the alcohol inks are new for me, and this design of a resin bloom bouquet is new. So yeah, hopefully I can create a nice bouquet. So I'm shaping the flowers a little bit with my dotting tool, and also where I see blobs, I spread those. Adding a little bit more white flowers in the center. Yeah, what I mentioned, this mold is for molds and shapes. It's a really nice mold. I love the edge. And if you're interested in this mold, the link to it is in the description below this video. I also have a promo code for their website. If you use my promo code JustPaint10, then you will get 10% discount. So that's amazing. And there is also an affiliate link. But all the information is in the description. So now I add some heat to yeah, make the resin a little bit thinner so that the white can spread, but not too much because then I will ruin the shape of the flowers. The colors are amazing. They are very vibrant. So that's great. So this is 1 hour later. And it did bloom. In the center, I must say, in the center, not that much. So if someone knows why it bloomed on the outside but not in the center, please let me know in the comments below this video because I'm very curious. There you can see it. But this is only the first layer. There will be a second layer on top of this one to create that 3D effect. So the first layer is dry. Now I'm going to start on the second layer. I'm using the same resin, the fast cure resin from Let's Resin. I'm adding 40 gram of resin in my paper cup. There you can see it. You can also see that it's really thick resin. And now I'm going to use a different white. There you can see it. I'm using the casting craft. Why? Because there are some people that don't have my pigment paste but do have this casting craft. So I'm adding 4 drops. So I use 1 drop of 10 gram of resin. And this color needs to be transparent. There you can see it. Because if it's too opaque, the color will sink to the bottom. So the temperature is very high. It's 37.6 degrees. So that's high, and it's already very thick, the resin. So I'm starting with the first color, again yellow, and the same alcohol inks from Let's Resin, and an orange around it. And now I'm using the green color, and that should resemble the leaves of the roses or the blooms, the nice flowers, all the way around it, close to the edge. Because I know this color will flow to the center. And again, the cerulean color. And again, I'm going to make some flower designs. There you can see it. So no circles or petals, only, yeah, a flower shape. So if you're interested in the alcohol inks and resin, the link to those supplies are also in the description. Yeah, and because the resin is thicker, you can create some nice flower shapes with it. It doesn't, yeah, how do you say that? Stream out of your piping bag. And also the mold is totally filled to the top now. Also in the center. And again with my dotting tool, I shape the flowers a little bit and also to spread the dots or the blobs. Again, some heat, not too much, and also not on top. Yeah, this is on high speed, and you can see it change a little bit. But after an hour of drying, I will also show you a close-up again. So this is 1 hour later, and you can see on the outside it bloomed a lot. I think that looks amazing. In the center, not that much. So again, my question, if someone knows why it doesn't bloom in the center that much, please let me know. I'm very curious. But maybe the other side looks very pretty. But the outside bloomed very well. I love the colors. There you can see it. Very pretty. So I will let this dry and then after 24 hours I will take it out of the mold. So we are 24 hours later. Now I can take it out of the mold, and as you can see, I have no problems with that. Goes very easy. The edge is amazing. I like the cascade edge, and it's a geoda shape. I also like that. So I'm very curious how the other side looks. But I always show you both sides. So it bloomed a lot on the edge. Very pretty. And how does it look? Yeah, I think it looks nice. I don't mind that the center doesn't bloom that much. Very pretty. It gives a lot of depth. The colors are amazing. But I also need to test the fast Q resin from Let's Resin again. Yeah, I'm showing you how it looks on white. I think this looks better than on black. Yeah, I like it that the center, the orange yellow one center looks different than the rest. And then the smaller flowers, and on the outside where it bloomed a lot, that gives a lot of depth to this bloom bouquet. Yeah, I'm pleased. So this is a close-up of the end result. I think it looks pretty. But was my first try. For sure, I'm going to try this again. But again, I want to thank Fahima for her inspiration video. If you want to watch that video, the link to it is in the description below this video. So thanks a lot, Fahima. Yeah, you can see the bloom in the green and the blue on the edge and the smaller blooms. Yeah, it looks totally different than the normal blooms that we do. But I think this looks very nice. It's very 3D. So let me know what you think of my resin bloom bouquet. And I hope I inspired you all to also try this because yeah, it was really fun to make it. And for sure, I'm going to use the resin again and the alcohol inks. So I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!